Yeah, man. Yeah, I posted this. I posted the main question, the title of the show, on Facebook, and I got so many passionate answers, and it baffles me on why so many people are passionate about this. Like it's crazy, man. Um, there's definitely a few other questions before that, but we got to jump in. We got to jump into why people are so passionate about divorce and protecting their assets and not getting taken advantage of, and it's just crazy. I just don't think our grandparents thought like this so heavy about our assets. You know what I'm saying? What's
I
up,
don't know
Mo? How
our
you doing?
if our grandparents had that many
What's
assets.
happening? I don't say that. I was gonna say they ain't had nothing, but they had.
Yeah, some of them maybe their house. You know what I mean? They had the
Right.
house, and some of their
And
kids
that
is
wasn't
living in
worth
that house
much.
now.
Yeah,
It
and
ain't
that wasn't
mine.
worth much.
I mean, sheesh, it's worth a penny now. But
Yeah, especially if they like, I don't know, if they're redoing the neighborhood and the house been around that long. They might have been able to live it long enough for it to actually spend a profit.
mm, let me go and start this up. Yo, so I just want to point out this is therapy for us all. Like week in, week out. We look forward to it. Listen,
Fellas,
it's
it's
just
gonna
so
be one of them nights.
it's going to be. I'm telling you. What's good, man? Another prototype dad episode Tuesday, 9:30 this time, man. We chiming in. What's good with the world, man? Uh Interesting things have happened over the past couple weeks, and we just want to talk about them a little bit and figure out how to protect ourselves against being taken advantage of, when really looking for love. Uh I think we talked a little bit about it last week on, getting targeted by certain women, you know what I mean? Um I'm sure men do the same. I'm sure there's some men out there that target women, but I don't know if it's that effective. We don't hear of it that much. You know what I'm saying? So like, man, let's just dive into it though. First question though is, when should we start thinking about protecting our assets? At what stage in our life is our assets valuable to us? You see who's next to me.
Right back like I never left. Um, it's funny. I think you should start thinking about protecting your assets the moment you realize that you might be getting some assets or you might be growing towards some assets. Because a lot of people um, really don't. I mean, I'm sure some people don't even know what an asset is, but you know, necessarily really, um, they're not in a trajectory to build or gain any lucrative assets. So, but once you see yourself moving in that direction, and you're starting to think about maybe settling down or getting with somebody, I think at that point you should start thinking about different ways that you can protect yourself against I'll say liabilities. You know what I mean? Protect yourself against any things that may come up.
Or pirates.
Because yeah, but not just protecting you, but also protecting the other person. Because you know what I mean. Once you're emotionally attached and involved, that changes everything. Like rationality goes out the window in a lot of cases. So it's like, okay, while you're of sound mind and you are thinking clearly, let's have this conversation, or let's let me put these things in order while I'm not thinking emotionally. So I think whenever you got something and you start moving in that trajectory where you're building and gaining, you should start thinking about how to protect your assets. Because once you're in the thick of it, it's almost too late.
What's up, Mo? What's your take?
So give me the actual question. So I want to make sure I actually answer that first.
When should you start thinking about protecting your assets? A lot of us come from the mud, you know what I'm saying? So it's a thing of I don't got nothing anyway, or
So
we just happy to be alive.
So when should you start, or when should you think about it?
When should you start and think about it?
So when should you start? This is gonna sound funny, but when you notice people, you got enough to where somebody's gonna target you. So that's when you need to start protecting yourself. But you should be thinking about it prior to having it. So like for example, I remember coming out of college, man. Actually, I'll take it even further back, and I'll probably get to this story a little later. I remember I'm playing high school ball, whatever, and I'd already signed a scholarship or whatever. And literally, I remember I start kind of getting hangers on, like Tupac used to say. And so long story short, I caught meningitis. And so I was like, yo, man, I don't know what's up. And I didn't even know what that meant at the time. And I remember, so I'm in the hospital. I lost 13 pounds in 2 weeks. And the chick in question says, so I'm not going to get my Mercedes. Ma'am, I ain't played a down on college football yet, let alone go to the league, and you was already banking on this Mercedes Benz. And to me, that's when I start thinking about, okay, I probably need to start, one, getting with somebody who probably has like a similar trajectory to me, and I need to make sure I'm protecting myself. So these pirates, that's literally what I call them. So these pirates ain't out here, trying to raid whatever they can get from me. So when you should actually start doing it is when you have enough worthy to be targeted, but you should be thinking about it well before you ever get it, just in case. It's like insurance.
What's up, Hit? What's your take on protecting yourself? When do you start thinking about protecting yourself from pirates?
From pirates, that dude's funny. I think, any situation, I think oftentimes, like, we don't really have a succession plan put in place. And I think part of protecting your assets is, like really planning out life, like life after you go. Like, how many times that, like, right now, like any of us, I'm being honest, like, what's your succession plan when you go? Like, where does your assets go? Who gets the money? Who controls this? Like, we really don't really have a real plan, and we don't like to talk about it. I don't know if it's an African American thing, or if it's that we still feel invincible, we're gonna be around forever, but we really don't plan what's gonna happen after we go. And I think that's a part of not just protecting it from pirates, but those type of pirates. But we talking about family members that can be pirates. You know what I'm saying? We talk about your loved ones that, become pirates after you go, and they feel like they didn't get the cut, or it'd be a lot going on, and we don't really have that planned out. So I think we gotta think of it overall, and we're protecting everything we work for our entire lives. You know what I mean? And don't let it dissolve as soon as we go. We're not here to protect it. We just gotta strategically put things in place, to protect the assets well after we go.
Hey, way to bring in a whole nother element to the show. Bringing up family members can be pirates too. You know what I'm saying? Because that's definitely a real thing, man. And I definitely
that's a great point.
Yeah, man. What's up, Mo?
Hey, we need to touch on that before this show's over. We need to actually touch on that and unpack that, because that's wow.
Let's do it. You raised your hand like you was gonna say something.
No, so one of the things that he was saying was like, what is your succession plan and stuff like that. We've talked about this, man. I had aspirations and I had plans at going to the league and being a millionaire at 20. So I already kind of had that mindset of, okay, what would I do and how would I let this money, propel me for life? So anything I got at that point, I already felt I was behind. So I already kind of had a plan in place. And then once I actually start really touching some money, man, like I actually have trust in place. I actually have insurance policies directed where I wanted to go, directed at who it's supposed to go to. And in that case, about the whole family pirates, man, I've seen it way too many times, man. It's actually really unfortunate the way folks go about it, man. When somebody passed, man, they look at it as a payday or a lottery ticket that they didn't have to scratch off. Man, just recently, like this week, man, I had to go get the marriage license because I'm getting married on Saturday, man. Literally, I know, right? Man, selling the ranch again. So, So as we was in that office, so probate court, man, it's all about, business, in the business of you. I heard two people scamming in there. Hey, what happens if we can do this? And this person died, and they're like, oh well, there's three other siblings that need to sign off on this. What if we can't find them? What if we can't? What if they refuse to sign? I knew it already because I've heard. I was like, that's a scam. They scamming already. They trying to siphon money away from the family before they can already touch it. So yeah, family pirates are real as well. So to avoid that, it helps the person that actually has the assets to kind of distribute where they would want it to go in black and white before, folks is just trying to be pirates and looting whatever's left.
Yo, and I just want to add to that. Even in the distribution, you already had to prep the receiver on like how you're thinking and where your thoughts are and how you want it to be distributed. So like if my son is going to be my beneficiary, he needs to be thinking and acting like I would think. You know what I mean? So that goes in prepping well beyond, you know what I mean, you making that date, but starting to prep him early to understand like, hey, this is how money works. This is what you need to do. This is how I expect you to move with it or think with it. You need to get this to your sister. You know what I'm saying? Like, actually, if you have a preparation well beyond, you know what I mean? Like you said, when do you start? Like, when do you start him doing that? I think is well beyond, like, if we wait till we get it, I think it's too late. Like, it's way too late. You know what I mean? You want to be able to know that when you give this money to this person, that they're gonna, you know what I mean? They're gonna take it and they're gonna do what you think that they would think that you would do with it, or act accordingly. You know what I mean? Think that way, and not to give it to a pirate.
So I wasn't sure where you were going with that. Because at first I was like, nah, like I thought you meant like you telling them like what you gonna get, but nah, you don't want to do that. Like, yeah, I mean, you might get Menendez, like you don't want to do that. But what I was gonna say, and like I thought you brought it home at the end. And I think what's important about that is that education and then that skill set of learning money and that financial literacy is part of their inheritance.
I want to ask the question, man. How do you know somebody's a parrot? How do you spot these parrots? What's up, Lee? You should be good at this. How do you spot a parrot, Lee?
Man, you know what? It's difficult to spot a pirate if you're already a giving type of person, because typically you're, before, if you witness or you see somebody's need before they even start asking about it, or before they start even asking, so you see something and you just start taking care of stuff, you know what I mean? But then you just start seeing patterns like, oh, okay, like all the time, like every week. So you know what I mean? It's difficult when you're that type of person, but you can sometimes spot out a pirate. I'll keep using that term pirate, but you can sometimes spot out a pirate by, you know what I mean? Because sometimes they'll start insinuating stuff, or they'll start saying certain things, or they'll start acting a certain way, or you know what I mean, or saying saying goofy stuff like, yeah, man, I'm late on this bill, or and then they get this entitlement thing where they feel like, you know what I mean, because you're in their life in a certain way that you should be, you know what I mean, that you should be helping them out. Not like that could be, a friend, that could be family, that could be a significant other, you know what I mean, that that's kind of looking in that way and feeling like, they're entitled to something because they're in your life and you got it. So, you know what I mean, just keep your eyes open to that, and keep your ears open and listening to what, what's being said.
Look, hey, Lee said something that it really struck a chord with me. So a great and perfect way to spot a pirate, if anybody ever asks you for something, they say, you got it, you're a pirate. Anytime I've ever heard that, alarms go off in my head. Like, why are you counting what I have? You look at all this, you got it. I'll be like, yo, man, I got big bills too. Like, hold on, like, how are you entitled to get a loan? You know what I mean? Like,
it ain't no loan. It ain't no loan. It's a keep. It's a keep. Well, I need to borrow something, but I can't pay you back. Like, come on.
Right. Like, yeah. So, so that's a big thing that I look for. And, and for me, like, like I tell y'all, man, I had this 10-year run of singleness, and I've seen it all, man. Like folks, so for me, man, I told Vic this, man. Like initially when I'm dating, I'm playing defense. I'm Floyd. You know what I mean? Like, cause I know, man, I have a good heart. I'm very generous when when I'm really with you. Cause I'm gonna give you whatever. You know what I mean? There ain't nothing that I can't give you.
So
You were saying something, Vic?
yeah, I was going to ask, throw some of those experiences that helped you be like, oh, this person's a pirate. And I mean, because I know some examples like that you've told me, right? So sure, in your own discretion, how you was like, oh, this person was a pirate.
Yeah, so like, man, and man, shout out to little sis, man. She the one who told me this, man. Folks fall in love with your hand and not your heart. So with that being said, like I remember, not that it was often, but whenever they came to the crib and was like, ooh, I could do some things with this. No, you can't. Like, no, relax. You know what I mean? Or, ooh, I thought like once they kind of start knowing me a little bit, and Vic always mentions I'm a minimalist, whatever. And they be like, once they actually figure out kind of what's going on, they be like, damn, why you ain't got no luxury car? You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather my lady have one if that's what she wants. I don't care about it. It's not a big deal for me. But when they start projecting what they would do if they had your money on you, I'll be like, yo, like I'm happy. Like clearly I have it. So if I don't buy it, it's because I don't want it and it's not important to me. So why are you trying to project your wishes and your desires on me? So that's always a huge red flag for me. And then I remember when I started traveling, it was one of them things. Oh, you should take me with you. And I'm like, well, I don't have a problem with that. You my lady, I'll take you wherever I'm going. But I'm like, do you got a passport? Well, no. Man, you go to New Orleans first. Like, man, get your weight up. Like,
well, they want you to buy the passport too. That's on you too.
Yeah, come on, man. Where's your initiative, man? I ain't even saying meet me halfway, but you're not even prepared. You're not even qualified for this ride yet. You know what I mean? Because there was a time, man, on a whim, man. I'm like, hey, man, we going, I remember one time we on a whim, man. We just went to London one time. Like, man, we out. So if you're not even prepared for that, or if you don't even have your lifestyle set up to where you can do that, you're probably not qualified for this ride. You know what I mean? Because if you're truly like, and there were situations where if you were like, quote unquote, let's just say you have a 9-to-5, right? Your life isn't set up to be able to just go like I was able to go. So with that being said, I would understand if you was like, oh, okay, well, maybe I can't go right now, but I can go X amount of days later or whatever, or however many weeks later. And what would end up happening is you start talking about if I could reimburse you for time missed at work. I'm like, oh no. That's when I was like, it's not about me. Like you want to break even with the cherry on top. And I'm like, oh no, like you won't have to give up something to get on this ship. And when
that's wild though. Hey, there's definitely chicks that be out here like,
you ever heard that?
Pay me for my day off. Yo,
yeah, that's
whoa.
Crazy. Like you ain't got no PTO.
Wild. Like,
yeah.
Like you want to see me, you got to buy my outfit. You got to
don't get me started.
Pay me for my day off.
I got to pay for the babysitter. Look, that ain't even a part at this point. That's a whole separate category. That's what I used to call professionals. But yeah, that's a whole different category. That's like
that vampire.
Hey, that's definitely crazy. If you got to pay somebody to come kick it with you that's crazy.
Yeah, you're not qualified to ride or send me gas money. That's the other one. Remember that?
Yeah, I ain't heard that one in a long time. I won't hear the shit, but yeah, like
you don't belong here. True. You don't belong here.
What's up, Hit? What you got? How you spot a pirate, bro?
All right, my man, he had broke it down a few examples. I got one. So if you go to their crib in like John's Ferry and you walk in there and they sleep on an air mattress, you might got a pirate on your hand, dog. You know what I mean? If they got the Louis bag in the bins, but they pop the trunk and they got mad shoes and clothes in the back of it, you definitely probably got a pirate, dog. She ain't. It's all a facade. Yo, if you sitting at a bar, right, and you say hello and they ready to order a drink and get something to eat, she probably a pirate. You know what I'm saying? Especially if she got to ask, what is the top shelf? That means you don't drink top shelf. You don't buy top shelf. You probably got a pirate. Just like on the real, like I don't know. I know it's huge in Atlanta, and then people who look in worldwide just to give y'all some insight. It's a lot of facade that happens here. You know what I mean? You got people that everything is all about the flash. Like it looks great on the outside, but people it's like the ducks swimming across the water. They look nice and smooth, but underneath them legs is flapping and flapping like crazy. And you got people that's putting on like this. Everything is great, but they really out here looking for a sponsor and somebody to tie into. You know what I'm saying? The snatch. So now, dudes, you need to be like, if a woman is constantly talking about brands and what they buy and what they got, you know what I mean? People who got money don't talk about stuff like that. You know what I mean? You never hear them saying like, oh, my stuff costs this, my stuff costs that. If you know, you see it, you know it. You know what I mean? You're gonna know it when you see it. You don't need a whole lot of monograms on it. You know what I mean? They going off the material. You know what I mean? They're buying it for the quality. So if people talking about money and what they clothes and what they got, you know what I mean? More likely they can't afford it and they're looking for a sponsor to, you know what I mean, for them to be able to keep it. Because they probably got a firm. They probably like I told a woman one time, like, I'm not about to argue with nobody who still got 4 weeks left on their shoes. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not doing that. Like, I'm just not.
Oh, you mean a firm? Oh my god!
I'm not
Wait,
doing that with
you. Said did they got what on their shoes?
A firm. It's the payment thing. It's the payment when you buy something and you can choose the payment option. Oh man.
Yo, you still got 4 weeks left on them shoes. You know what I'm saying? You out here
playing. If she got a firm, at least she got good credit, I guess, right?
I mean, they don't always be that, you know. I don't know. I don't know. They ain't always good, man. You know what I'm saying? They be paying a lot. That percentage rate be crazy, dog. You know what I mean? You don't know how to count them pennies, dog. So I'm just telling you, like, it be like, yo, you gotta be cautious of that, man. Like, yo, you gotta listen. Like a lot of dudes get, like I said, they get caught up with the outside appearance, like what she do, and it sounds great. But if she's overextended, I don't care if she's a traveling nurse or not. You know what I mean? If you overextend it, you know what I mean? You're still in, you know what I mean? You're still in the red. Like
you're survival mode.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You scratching and clawing out here. You know what I mean? You came out here with $10 in your purse, and you're gonna eat, you're gonna party, and have a great time on somebody else's dime, yo. You know what I mean? Like, people come out with those intentions. Like, don't have nothing, no money, no nothing, and they will have a great time all night. You know what I mean?
Like resources in itself don't make you a pirate, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but we talked about family
without giving something. That's what makes you a pirate.
Well, we talked about family, right? Most family don't start out as pirates, but like survival tendency.
That's because you right there. You with your family. Y'all start out on the same, and then you start, and then they be like, "Hey, let me hold. You know what I'm saying? You be like, "Wait a minute, man." So that's kind of what I want to jump into, right? Like, after the love is there, how do you protect yourself from these pirates? You know what I'm saying? The love is there now. Like, I rock with this person. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you know somebody's transitioning to a pirate on you? Lee?
Oh man, unfortunately, man, when the love is there, you're probably the last person to notice, man, because now you blinded. Your blinders is on. That's why I said, if you ain't starting that early, then once you're in the mix of it, it's too late. Because you know what I mean, in your head, you just taking care. You know what I mean? You doing what you're supposed to be doing, and you're not really paying attention to all those underlying things and those little subtleties. You know what I mean? It's a little too late. So you trying to, you just trying to be there, and you don't catch it till the back end, and you like, yo, this is crazy. What the heck is going on here? And now you start asking yourself questions like, yo, like, why is XYZ happening, or why is this happening? So you know what I mean? Once you're in the thick of it, man, it's definitely harder to recognize, the pirate, because at the same time you still, your feelings is involved now. So now you're looking at it from a whole different mind state. So that's a tough one for me. Mo?
No, so that's real. So one of the things to me, I kind of look at everything from a business perspective. And when I hear that, you're talking about them transitioning into a pirate, it's too late. So I say on the front end, you probably should set things in place to before your feelings is caught up. You should set things in place to protect yourself. And this is something I say in corporate America all the time. I'd much rather put up smoke detectors than fight fires. So I've already set a standard, like, and I can go back to my, to my mental Rolodex and say that same person that I took out for a 2 for 20 also got some red bottoms out of me. So, that's, you can be both. But the biggest thing is I need to see that you're worthy. I need to see that you're not there for the stuff. Because if you're there for me, there's stuff that's going to come with it. I mean, it's just the way it is, man. Once I love you, man, I'm going to spoil you. I'm going to do whatever it is to make you happy, as long as it makes sense. But that transition, if you didn't protect yourself on the front end, it's probably too late. And that's what they're hoping for. They're actually hoping that, because people can pretend for a while, and then they got their hooks in you, and then be like, oh, I don't want to sign no prenup. You love me, don't you? Like, whoa. No, let's handle the business first, and then we can get to the love. Let's handle the finance before the romance.
I want hits to go. Let's talk about them prenups. Hey, how you defend yourself from a pirate once you love them?
Yo, I don't love them pirates, man. You know what I'm saying?
It's too late. It's
rules to this. Nah,
you don't even know she's a pirate until she, until she got you. Sometimes the pirate don't happen until the divorce.
Yo, but you said something though, right? Mostly in divorces, right? You said that somebody's in survival mode, right? So humans don't survive, we thrive, right? We don't survive, but survival mode breeds different behavior when you're trying to survive. So she may be trying to kill you with all these different child supports, different things, because she's trying to survive. She don't understand how to survive without you. And that's a defense mechanism. So the thing is, like my man just said, if you putting up smoke detectors well beyond it gets finalized, you should set her up, and have her already being able to sustain on her own. A lot of times we overextend trying to be men, right? And we create something that we gotta support. So like when they leave you, all they want is the same thing that you've been providing them, the provision you've been providing them. You didn't tell them to like go out and do this. Hey, when I'm doing this, I want you to do this. And so they can understand how to create wealth and create money of their own. They're going to be looking at your ass and depending on you to continue the lifestyle that you already created. So it's your fault.
So, so to kind of add to that though, what if you're trying to help them grow and to sustain, and they're like, nah, I don't want to learn that. Nah,
you got it. You got it.
That's you got it, right? Like you're trying to give them the skills to live on their own, right? Like because you think like if I can pass this duty off to them, we could be better as a unit. And as you're going through that process, they'll just you do it. I don't want to learn about that. I don't want to learn about this either. I'm gonna just stay over here and not grow. Oh man, that's a hurtful point.
So I think that's twofold though. Like it depends on the man, right? So some dudes, man, they could use the bag as a level of leverage, and to where like as long as she don't, if she don't have a way to sustain on herself, she ain't gonna be doing nothing. And they might feel a little bit, oh, well, why is she trying to build herself up and trying to set up her own stuff so she could leave me? So it just depends on the person and their mindset. So that's super important to understand what kind of mindset as the man or the breadwinner, what you're dealing with, because it could be opposite. So it all depends on the mindset of the person. Personally, I don't want no leeches or no, tag-alongs. Like, and just because she doesn't want to learn what you wanted to teach her doesn't mean that she doesn't have value and she doesn't have a skill set. You just got to do something. You know what I mean?
You muted.
Hit, we can't hear you.
You muted.
I say, yo, that's a good point that Mo said. She doesn't necessarily have to engage in the business you in, but you can support her in her endeavors in the business she's trying to do. Ask her like, hey, what you want to do? Like, hey, you want to go to school? Okay, let's make a plan so we can help you get to school. Like, I think oftentimes, we don't want to see it through because it's work on our end also. Like, you got to keep going back. It's like almost, and I'm not saying it like that, but it's almost like having another child. You know what I mean? To a certain extent, right? Like you got to follow up, You got to go back. You got to remind them. You got to show them again. And a lot of times when you keep doing that over and over, you get frustrated and be like, you know what? Let me just do it on my own, right? And we do that to our kids sometimes, and that cripples them. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't show them because you get frustrated. But like, look, give me the goddamn mad problem. I got it. You know what I'm saying? You'll do it for them, but they still haven't learned. So I think we gotta check ourselves on that situation. If we get divorced and she don't have nothing to walk away from, she's gonna feel like she's entitled to whatever you had because you know what I mean. This is what you gave her. Like they said, like you provided this lifestyle for her. You gotta continue it.
So is not getting married a solution to this? Would y'all consider that a solution? Leifer, what you got?
I mean, certainly if you don't get married, you don't need to worry about a prenup or you don't have to worry about divorce. So
That ain't true.
So
Well, so them parents can still get you. I think was that last
well,
week.
that's a separate concept. So
Yeah.
I'm worrying about protecting your assets in a divorce. So that's the main topic. So if you don't get married, then you don't have to worry about protecting your assets in a divorce. You don't have to worry about some of those other liabilities. However, if you if a single man, I think, has to worry about his assets because he's going to be targeted. I mean, you talked about that a bit, in the last episode, and you know what I mean. And a lot of that stuff is going on now, all over. You got men out here, what they call high value men or high earning men, who are, what they call they're accessing their roster. So they've got people out there and they're doing what they're doing and they're being targeted. So, their income, their jobs, their security is all at risk now because now they can turn around and go back and say, oh, well, this was unwanted or he did this or, maybe they were coworkers. So, you know what I mean? There's so many risks out here for not being married. So it's almost a safe bet that if you go and make that money, then you need to go ahead and tie the knot. Because I think even like some of the, I would say the Steelers football players, like they were encouraged, like, yo, you got all this stuff looming. Go ahead and get married. Find somebody to get married, because it takes a lot of that extra liability. You shield yourself from that extra stuff. Because now you got somebody who's tied to you and tied to your assets in some way, and they ain't finna let a lot of that stuff come around. So, it's almost a safety net.
So
you're that other stuff to get married.
You're saying rich men are encouraged to get married, to settle down and find one?
I'm saying some.
Hold on, don't answer that, Mo. I want you to answer.
I'm saying some in some arenas and some professions are encouraged to get married, not only for image but for protection of themselves against some of these other liabilities and pirates out here.
I want you to answer the question before, Mo. Is not getting married a solution?
Yeah, it's not a good one, but yeah, it's a way to not get the half trap, but you can catch you a lawsuit or you know what I mean. So I mean, it's a solution, but it's not a good one. Yeah.
How you feel about that solution, not getting married? Because look, I'm like, I posted this on Facebook, man, and we got so many comments. A lot of the comments like, "Don't get married, don't get married," like, you know what I mean? And I'm like, how we start a legacy here? Like, is that not important? Or maybe it's not.
Maybe they might think that's overrated.
Yeah,
like,
they might.
Remember the mogul discussion we had? It like, man, I'll donate a library. I'll donate some art to the Louvre. Or all that.
But that's the thing, though. Like,
18 years.
What do these moguls and these millionaires know that they get married time and time again? Most millionaires are married. Like, what is it, like 85%? I don't know. I'll look at 85%. 85% of millionaires are married. So what do they know? They got to know something. But I think Leifer kind of hit it on the nail, man. Like, being married kind of protects you from, what they say. I hate to say his name. I hate this person.
Big Ben.
Hey, I'm assuming that's what he was talking about. They sat him down and said, "Hey, no more ballroom bathrooms. Hey, we got a nice girl for you here. You know what I mean?
They probably found her. Like the Stiller organization would probably went and recruited her for him. Truth. Hey, we got one for you.
I think she might have ties to the ownership family, if I'm not mistaken.
Really? See, look, I can't believe it.
I've never confirmed it, but I've heard that before.
We groomed one for you. Hey,
yep.
Sit down. What you got in my head?
I think honestly, I think it's a watch when we talk about getting married, not getting married, right? Because if you stay out here and keep playing, you're gonna spend just as much money, you know what I'm saying, as you may lose into the board out here trying to keep up, yo. So, I'm being honest. Like, it's a long term game, but I think it's gonna come out the same, man. I think honestly, it's more stability in a marriage. I think that's why the millionaires take that road, because of stability that you gain from being married. It does take you away from a lot of different things, right? It helps you be more focused. Like when you're constantly in the chase, you know what I mean? It's really hard to be focused because you're dealing with so many different personalities and so many different things in different stages. Sometimes it just takes you away from the goals and the things that you're trying to do. You know what I mean? So, like, honestly, man, I think if you think long term analytically about it, if you do the math with it, you think, all right, I was married and I bought this gift and that gift. But if you're single, you're dropping it in smaller, you're dropping it more frequently in smaller doses. Like you go out for a night, it's 300. You know what I'm saying? And you got another one you're gonna take out Saturday. That's another 300. You know what I'm saying? So if you start accumulating up, you paying car notes, house notes. You know what I'm saying? You're doing a lot.
Don't lie to the young boys. Don't lie to the young boys and tell them it's even. Because if it was even, I would say not. Like, don't do it and have fun, and because it ain't even. You're exposing yourself to way more.
Yeah, it's a lot of exposure. It's a lot of exposure. Yeah, I'm saying, but we talking about financially, right? From financially, like,
go and shoot a couple kids. Go and shoot out a couple kids.
Yo, you better. Hey, that's a whole nother. That's a whole nother situation.
Hey, his face was like you gotta. If you're gonna do the single thing, you gotta be perfect. You gotta be perfect. Mm-hmm. There's no shooting up the club. There's hey, sign this before we get busy.
Go get the big B. You know what I mean? Like, like.
Nah, that's true. Like it's no bare backing. It's you know what I'm saying? This is protected. This is where I'm at. Like, that's facts. That's facts, yo. Nah, that's facts.
No glove, no love.
Facts. You definitely you gotta play a little different. And you can't be in nobody's houses. You gotta understand what areas you going to, what demographic you're targeting. You know what I'm saying? Like honestly, ain't no more pulling over and looking at the big butt with the stroller. That's dead. Like, you can't do that at a certain point.
Listen, here's a rule of thumb that I've learned. If you got to text your homeboy or drop a pin, hey, this is where I'm you shouldn't be there. You shouldn't. If you got to, hey, this is where I'm gonna be at. In the back of your mind, you ain't had no business going over there. How I know that? Don't worry about it. But hey, trust me, it's way more exposure doing it that way.
When you got put this strap in the when you put the strap in the hoodie, you don't put it on your holster in your pocket. You put that shit in the hoodie pocket. Yeah, you know you ain't supposed to be there, dog. That ain't your thing no more.
I tell him I keep Peaches on me, boy. She ready to give a lap dance.
He can't be dying. Oh my God.
Hey, listen. Look, he might have received he may or may not have received one of them texts. Hey, this is where I'm at. Like, you don't have no business going over there.
Oh man. Hey, we're marrying into a rich family, marrying a rich girl. Would that be a solution? Leifer, what you got?
It's a lot.
A solution to what exactly?
Not losing your assets,
I guess avoiding a pirate.
avoiding a pirate.
Well, that's a good question, because I would imagine if she already has assets, and she's probably the one pushing for the prenup. So you know what I mean. So you probably already. You don't think so? Well,
They might
I
be more
think so.
savvy because I remember I used to kind of do that. Be like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm a, you know, they're gonna be more savvy and they're gonna have more access and they're gonna have more exposure to the things to really pilfer your resources. So you almost would rather
yeah,
go in this
but
dojo
if
with
she comes
somebody
from
more
but she
blind.
comes from a rich family and she has more assets than you, she don't need to pilfer your resources. She's pilfering Big Daddy's. So you know what I mean. She's not
But
worried
he
about
want to
that.
get her. He
Hey.
want to get her off his payroll.
To chime in though, I think a lot of athletes fall into that loop too, where they'll go marry a rich bunny or something like
Don't
that.
do it. Don't do it.
And they'll go try to find, you know, somebody that's hanging around in their circle or whatever, and they still get bammed at the end of it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
They
dude.
still take a licking on that.
And that's that, you know, that's the clear. That's one of the quick sucker games. I don't need your money. We got way more. No, you don't have. Your daddy has more money than me. You don't. So when things go awry, there's no prenup. They already got access to that asset lawyer. They already got access to that lawyer that's going to come and strip you of whatever it is that you got. Now, granted, they might be able to help you get to a bigger bag, so that there's a benefit to it, but they might also have a better understanding and more resources on how to pull it from you if you don't protect yourself.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So I was coming from the mind state of thinking that they would leave with the prenup, but if they didn't, I would leave with the prenup myself. Like, look, when if something happens and we leave this thing, you leave with everything you came with, I leave with everything I came with, and we move on. You know what I mean? Or if we build something together, whatever we built after we were together, then anything that we built together, okay, we can split that. But you know what I mean? Anything that we came with, we leave with. So so I'm coming with, like I said, I'm coming with the mind state that because she has more assets, she's probably gonna.
But does she
If
really?
she has
She
more
just has a
assets,
bigger inheritance.
if she has more assets, because I mean, you could look at some of these. I don't know, because Will and Jada are on my mind because they're all over social media everywhere. But they're kids. They have their own lanes. So whatever their net worth is, whatever money they have it because they were able to. They went out and worked, and they made.
What about
some
that
money.
first kid? That first kid that don't do nothing. Him.
I don't know anything about him. I know
He's
oldest
not
one.
famous. Yeah, he's
The
not
oldest
famous.
one. The oldest one's not famous. The oldest one's not
So
famous.
it's all inheritance money.
It is all inheritance money. It is all inheritance. But we ain't talking about him. Why you want to go to him? Why can't we go to?
Because
Why
I'm
can't we go
about
to Will?
equality. Because I'm about
We can't-
equality. Pirates can be men too.
You ain't lying. You ain't lying. And he might just be pirating off the rest of the family. So
Right.
You know,
Remember
that just is
Bill
what it
Gates'
is.
daughter had that brother. Bill Gates' daughter had a little brother she was dating for a while.
for
Pirate.
sure.
Pirate.
Yo, so
boy,
that was gonna be
Dog's daughter. Pirate.
that was definitely gonna be where I was gonna spin it was definitely that, you know, we talk about marrying rich and like, I think it's not just men, you know what I mean? Like a woman finding a man, but sometimes men do find women and do the same thing, right? They're the pirates. And I know earlier, the beginning of the show, Stone mentioned like you can't really name a lot of men, but I mean there's one famous one, that dude Stephen with Oprah. Like he made a whole career just being with Oprah. What's the guy's name?
Stedman.
Stephen, some shit, some bull. Right? Nah, yo, like,
in his own right though.
like,
Nah, he's a dope dude. He just ain't got Oprah money.
Had her money.
Yeah, he's
Yo.
dope.
I hate
he just
that-
know
I
how
hate
to
that he
play the
gets that.
background. He ain't proud
Yo.
of it.
Gets that. Yeah.
yo, listen. Look at Oprah.
You want to talk about a
Look-
pirate? Talk about that
Yo,
dude who
hold
married
on.
Britney
Nah,
Spears.
son, hold on. Look at Oprah though. Really. Look at Oprah, son. Like,
Why?
come on,
Because she's
son.
what?
Who, Oprah?
Yeah.
Yes, especially when she got better or she got older. When she was younger, she was terrible.
She was
yo.
super
Getting a 2
trash.
for 1.
Like,
He probably was
Yeah.
getting a 2 for 1 though.
look at that. Like, yo, really? Like, come
No.
on, son. Yeah,
They
that
probably
wasn't.
was bringing in a pitch hitter, dog. Like, you know what I'm
Yo.
saying?
That's
Like,
beauty's in the
Yeah.
eye of the beholder.
y-
Yo, he was
Yo.
getting a
Might
2
thought she
for
was
1.
the
that's not
finest thing on
true.
earth.
That is
That-
not
that-
true.
It's the
Beauty is
eye
not
of
in the
the
eye of the
beholder.
beholder, man.
I
Beauty has a
give you
mark.
another one.
Beauty
No,
is beauty.
Yeah.
So that
Beauty is beauty to you.
No,
Beauty is beauty to you.
no,
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
No.
Who I think look good, you might not think look good. Who you think look good,
You're
I
lying
might
to
not
yourself.
think look good. Now, I'm not lying to myself.
you're lying
because
to yourself.
I'm not lying to myself, but I ain't
You
gonna
are.
do this on live.
You're
I ain't
you're
gonna do
lying
this
to
on
yourself.
live, though.
It's
I ain't gonna do
it's
this on live,
directional.
though. I ain't gonna do this
All
on
right,
live,
yo.
though.
Beauty has a standard, dog. Like
There is a
It's
standard, but the
directional.
standard don't just because people adhere to a standard, that's because most people are sheep. Most people are sheep. They follow the crowd, but that don't mean that's what they like. They do what they like in the shadows,
Beauty
and they
is
do
beauty.
what everybody else like. Well, that's
depending
what you
if you
feel.
like if you like it
That's
or
what I
not.
feel.
If you like it or not, you can't deny if somebody's attractive or not. Like, period. If you like it or not, like there's
Facts.
I'm not attracted to white girls at all. But if a white girl's attractive, I'm gonna be like, oh, she looks good. I mean, it's tough to get me say that, but at the same time, if she's attractive, man. And beauty's beauty, dog. Beauty's about symmetry. Good looks is about symmetry.
To me, that's a separate thing, though. But what you think is beautiful and what you think is attractive, is that not a separate thing?
Shut up.
It's levels to it. Like I said, it's
I'm just saying.
directional. It's
I'm just saying.
Listen, can I give my other example? I know
Go
you
ahead.
kinda
Yeah,
went
we
off
don't
on
cut
the
hit
tangent,
off, man. Hey,
but
hit. We need your opinion.
like I was saying, right? Like the from the Stella got a groove back. She got milked by dude and he dipped. Like he milked her, younger dude, got an older chick, milk. Yeah, that was a real story. Like the person who wrote the story that actually happened to her. Like
Yeah,
she
Toni
got with a
Morrison.
younger dude, huh?
But he ain't take no money off of her. He got his green card.
He was living off.
It was a green card, and he got on. He gave her that bamboo, got a
Yo,
green card.
you know what I'm saying?
Like,
Yo,
yeah,
son, he was living off, and then he got her for spousal support. I looked it up. He got her for spousal support. He milked it.
Equality.
Like, you got to give it to him, son. He did his thing.
Equality. you ever seen her?
That's what I'm saying.
Is she
So,
butt?
yo,
Is she butt?
Trash. You know how many nights he had to put up with bad. Ooh,
yo, that's what I'm saying. This happens though.
Pain and suffering.
My point is, it happens though. So it's not just a one way. It'll go up. It may happen more this way than that way, but it definitely goes two ways on it.
Because we're bigger fools.
I think the other way, the circumstances have to be different. I mean, it's a different set of circumstances. You're right. I do say that, but
Yep, they're way more savvy, and they're way more selfish, and they're way more business savvy than we are when it comes to that.
Yeah, but they're way more emotional too, though. They get way more emotional with it. You know what I mean? So
hey, look, and two is right. We're talking about the alphabet people. That's why I said he was getting Stedman was getting a 2 for 1, and Gail had that thing on her. Stedman wasn't complaining. Stedman wasn't complaining.
Hey, well, Oprah brought in the pitch hitter when she was bored. Like, look, I don't feel like it's Stedman. Go to the Stedman house, and I'll send some help down there for you.
Tag team, back again.
Stuff. So, is a prenuptial is that worth it? Because I mean, I got a lot of comments saying like they don't work. A lawyer's going to see through that. Blah 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? Like a prenuptial is just it's a waste of money. What's your thoughts on the prenup?
Man, I mean, it depends on what kind of lawyer you got, man. Look, these lawyers nowadays, they're eating up those prenups, man. They're eating them up, and they're finding loopholes and finding ways around them. So, you know, I think it's always worth it. You know, if you have assets you need to protect, and you're going into, I don't want to say a situation, but you're going into a situation, you know, with somebody, and you know what I mean. You just want to make sure that you're protected on, you know, on the front end, but yeah, man, I've been hearing a lot of stuff out here, man. A lot of people are challenging those prenups, and they're winning. Um, Not the majority, of course, but there are some who are winning from challenging these prenups. So I would say go with the precaution up front, and then deal with any challenges on the back end.
So $3,000 is well worth it. Hopefully you never need it, but definitely go ahead and spend that $3,000 to get a pretty ironclad prenup. And then if you're even more cautious, there's always an irrevocable trust that you can also create. You know what I mean? Not that you're hiding assets, but there's certain things that you put in there that's non-negotiable. Like,
so yeah, that was the next question, right? That's the next thing that people are saying, right? Is put it in a trust. I want Hit to go, but man, we just be skipping all over. I don't
Yeah, I see
want
that.
to. Look, he getting offended.
Equality.
you say put a skateboard, he's super mad.
Equality.
We gotta
brother.
see. You gotta understand how the order comes, right? So Leifer, then Mo, and then somebody always ends up being last, no matter what time we log on. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta get it earlier on the order, dog.
Yeah, I was here at 9:00, and then I got a communication that it wasn't until 9:30. I said, "Yo,
No
this
call,
I don't
no
know."
show.
Hey,
You know what I'm saying?
even if you being here at 9:00, you probably still would have been the last one to pull up.
Don't do that. That's not a fact. I was at 9. So, like I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, you know what I mean? Back to the scheduled programming
I was
was
here at
that
8:55, just so you know. And then I looked on YouTube and I realized, okay, 9:30. But
Such an upstanding citizen.
yo, honestly, man, those prenups are trash, yo. Like I was just listening to Tyrese talk about how he had a prenup and they just tore him a new one. You know what I mean? Where he's out on the steps, like trying to
20
get people
bands a
to help
month.
him. Like he's asking for help. Like he's crying, yo. Like they gave him the business and he had a prenup. So I'm telling you right now, the best course of action is to put in your mama's name, let her pay you, and you know what I'm saying? That's it. And beat it. Like that soccer player did. I forgot what country he was from. Yo, he put all his assets, everything paid to his mother. And when she tried to hit him with the woo woo woo, they looked at their assets and was like, you know what? You make more than him, you gotta pay him. Now that's not typical, and it won't happen in America because we're always gonna lose in this country. It just is what it is.
You know
But
what else though on that point, man? Our mamas ain't
His name is
trustworthy.
Hakimi. His name is Hakimi. Yeah, out there in Paris. Yeah.
yeah, he told
We
yo,
can't trust
can't
our
do that
mamas
here.
either though. Like our moms are bigger pirates than these women out here.
just been on
OG
your
pirate.
Like your mom will hit you. Your mom will hit you with like, "Hey, you gonna send me the money or not?" And you like, "Hi, mom. Nice to.
Look, we could be
Yeah, I love you
beefing.
too, son. Hey, I need these bills paid. Send me the bread."
Hey, you still know my cash app.
That I would say that's not typical, but it does happen. You know what I'm saying? Depending on where you know what I mean, where you from. Because I'll be honest, I've noticed northern mothers are a lot different than southern mothers. You know what I mean? It's a lot. It's a way different approach. Here it's northern mothers are a little more. It's different. It's way different. It's way different. So like northern mothers are the type that's kind of like they're always like in survival mode, hustling, grinding. Like they look at their kids like kind of like, you up next? Like you an asset. I need you to bring some in. I need you to do this. Like now we all in this hustle. We gotta get it together. You know what I'm saying? They're raising you fast so you can help. Like it's way different. So you get down here, mom is like that big mom in the kitchen. Hey, baby's gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying? Take your time, we'll find out. You know what I mean? They're a lot. It's a different approach and how you're being raised. It's a different approach in like in the rearing, in the motherly. Like they're more. I think Southern mothers are a little more motherly. You know what I mean? They're more
think
compassionate.
There's a socioeconomic. I think what you're talking about is socioeconomic, not regional.
Go deeper
I
on
don't
that.
know. Yeah,
Like
expound, my brother.
So for example, a chick that's from the hood here. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me be clear. A chick that's from the hood in the South, they pirates too. Trust me. It's just that you're not as exposed to them because you came down here in a different socioeconomic place. So trust me, poverty's poverty, no matter what region you in. Like they're always scratching and clawing. If you know what I mean. Look, it just got a different twang on it down here. If they poor, they coming for it. Like I told you when I was at the probate court office yesterday, they were scratching and clawing talking about if them siblings can't sign, can I still get the money anyway? So they still on the BS. It's a socioeconomic issue more than it's a regional issue.
Leifer, you lived in the North and the South.
I lived in the North, the South, and the Midwest, and I will definitely agree with Mo that it is socioeconomic. I mean, even in the Berg now, you can see those socioeconomics at play. You know, if mama's struggling, especially if she's a single mom, she's looking for help from the kids because she's trying to figure out how to make ends meet, and there's just a struggle in there. But if you go just a little further out into the burbs, Cranberry, you know what I mean? It's a whole different story. It's not the same thing. You know what I mean? It's not the same. Fox Chapel. It's not the same thing. So you know what I mean? It's just where you at. What Mo always say, where you stand, where you sit is where you stand, or what you always say.
Where you stand is determined by where you sit.
Yeah, and that's realistic, man, because it's just a different light, man. And you know, even in just how I see the world, man, I view the world through so many different lenses because I've lived in so many different places where I've been around so many different people in different socioeconomic classes where it was like, oh, this is a thing. Oh, this is real. Oh, this is because you know what I mean. You got, you know, we coming up. We got people putting their kids' names on electric bills, and you know what I mean, on electric accounts and gas and stuff. You know what I mean. So it's a whole different thing when you in survival mode than when you are actually, you know, moving things. And you know what I mean. And then it's a whole different conversation. You know, you're not looking for your kids to help. You're looking for your kids to carry the baton.
Facts. Look, how you 40 years old with a trade line that's 35 years old?
I mean, so like I said, one of the answers that people posted was put everything in your mama's name. Is that a viable solution to this?
No. And I'm gonna tell you why. So if y'all know who Antrell Rowe is, he put it in his book. So when he came to the league, he was a first round pick out of the U. I want to say went to the Giants. His mom gave him an invoice for $1 million. I'm sure he was going to take care of her. She gave him an invoice for $1 million, and they're from the South.
Hey, that's cold blooded.
Yeah, he was from Miami though, right?
Yeah,
I think Antrell Rowe from there, South Florida. Yeah, that's not the South, man. Miami's not the South. That's not the South. That's not considered the South. If you go and talk to them,
It's Haiti.
they don't even consider themselves the South like that.
It's
They
Cuba.
consider their own state. Real talk,
Yeah.
man.
That's kind of like
Real
Atlanta.
talk,
Like
dog.
Atlanta, I don't think Atlanta's the South. Atlanta's just a city in the South, but it's not the South.
Man,
'Cause everybody here ain't from here. Now you go to Douglasville, you know what I'm saying? you go to what's that? Fairburn, you know what I'm saying? You go to Grayson, you go to Gainesville, that's the South. But
look, the way this inflation is coming, all y'all gonna be out here in a second. Look, see you soon.
Hey,
Soon.
be out there, yeah, mess around might be. Shoot, man. What's last question? What's the last question? So a lot of people, some people were just like, man, just stay married. So the question is,
That's a solution.
whose fault is it? Whose fault is it when you're getting a divorce?
Man, listen, you know what I always say, man. It's the man's fault because at the end of the day, you can't control everything. If you can control you in the situation, you can control the situation. And typically, the man creates the environment and leads the situation. So if you create a bad environment, um, I know all too well. If you create a bad environment, then you are responsible for said environment and everything that comes with that. So not only can you create a bad environment, but you create a good environment. And if you create a good environment, then there's a good chance that the relationship or the marriage will succeed. You know what I mean? And it's incumbent on you to be able to and want to take that role and be able to lead in that way, to be able to make that work. Because you could give up at any time and you could do whatever you want at any time. But as long as you are, you're in that thing and you're leading that ship, the ship's going to stay afloat. The moment you stop leading that ship, it becomes the Titanic.
Listen, obviously I disagree. Like I think both parties definitely play a role. And shout out to Intuit, man. Absolutely. A divorce definitely is an indication of a failure by a man, but he doesn't own 100% of that. And we may need to go over Vic, because as I think about that, like that's the whole Jada Will thing that might need to be talked about as well. It kind of ties into this. I think a lot of that is because he doesn't want to split his assets. He must not have a prenup, or he don't think she deserves whatever she's entitled to get. Because there's no way somebody's putting up with that. Ain't that much love in the world.
Well, they already talked about that. You ain't read deeper into that. Like they said that when they got married, that they weren't going to get a prenup because they were never going to give each other a reason to get divorced. So they was going to work through whatever it was that happened and whatever it was that came up. So
that's manipulation. He got played.
I think he's the one who came up with that. But either way, it is what it is.
He just sucked in love.
And we all are suckers in love. The moment you become in love, you become a sucker. The moment you become in love, the moment you become a sucker.
I guess I ain't never been in love then.
Yeah, well, like I said, your mind state ain't the same, and your mind state ain't the same. You make bad decisions for sure because you're not thinking logically. So that just is what it is. But
I think there's a difference between people being in love.
There you go, Hit. There you go, Hit. Go ahead and just take the mic. Go ahead.
It's been happening all night, man. I figure I get my turn, but you know what I'm saying? I just want to throw that in there, right? I think a lot of times people you confuse love with loyalty, man. And so when you start making bad decisions, it don't be love. It's because you're trying to be loyal to something that you shouldn't be. But go ahead, my brother.
Nah, I was just saying, man, I think you're confusing loyalty with love, because loyalty will have you do a lot of things, but it won't have you being dumb. You know what I mean? Love will have you making dumbass decisions. Loyalty, you still at least got your wits about you when you loyal to somebody, because I could be loyal to you and then let you know, like, hey, bro, I can't go on this ride with you. You know what I mean? Oh, this ain't gonna work. You know what I mean? I'm a ride with you. Hey, you got a place to eat dinner and lay your head, but nigga, I can't roll with you tonight. You know what I mean? Loyalty, you still got your wits about you. You know what I mean? That love, man, that love thing is something else, man. That's some sorcery. It'll have you think.
Well, listen, they say love is, I know they say, look, love is blind, but it ain't stupid. Like, come on.
Hell, man, it's a chemical reaction. So sometimes you can't control that chemical reaction and take over your body. It's like a drug addiction.
Sound like a woman.
Listen.
Yo,
you say whatever you want, nigga. That dopamine hit your system. It's a wrap.
Yo, I can tell you,
get my system a different way. It ain't from. I don't know.
I ain't got none of that blue magic yet. Then I don't want none of that.
Listen,
yo, I can tell you from experience, right? This is from experience that loyalty is way more dangerous than love, because loyalty will have you stay in the situation when love left a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? Because you're being loyal to that, the fact that you were in love at one point and you're trying to stick it out and work on something, and it's really making you a worse person, right? You know what I mean? It's like,
and I agree with that. But I still think in those
loyalty,
moments you still have your wits about you.
Nah, because you're being stupid. you're being stupid at that point.
Well, you're being loyal.
You're-
You're being loyal by staying there, but you're not dumb enough to just go along with everything else.
Well, you're going along
Are
with
you?
it if you're staying there. You know what I mean?
If
Love
you're
is big
staying there,
in
you're
this
staying there because
situation.
you're committed to the situation, but you ain't committed to every action.
So if you're staying in a situation and the situation is not benefiting you, you think that's having your wits?
But
I
it
don't
is
think every
benefiting you.
situation is supposed to benefit you 100%. I think if you're in the perfect situation, then you're benefiting each other. You know what I
No.
mean? And it's
So what I'm
not
saying is,
benefiting you 100%.
if I'm not in, if the love is gone and I'm just in a situation and I'm trying to do everything I can do to work on something that's already the bridge is falling down, but I'm trying to patch and repair as much as possible. Is that telling me that I'm thinking in the right mind? You know what I'm saying? I don't have my wits about me.
Yes, because you could be thinking about, man, it's better to dance with the devil that you brought to the dance. You go out there, now you totally exposed versus this is the one that I know. You know what I mean? This is the devil that I know versus the one that you don't.
And then or you can, like you said, leave the devil that you know and go outside and have the time of your life. It's either or.
So not only are you dancing with the devil, but now you living in hell. You ain't just dancing with the devil, you living in hell. So I mean,
you could have missed all that because you was in loyal with somebody. Not love, but you was in loyal. I think there's a big difference in a loyal situation and then when you're actually in a love situation. I think loyalty will have you doing things and creating and everything that's not benefiting you. I think that's a big thing. A lot of people think that feeling you get is love. I can't leave. I won't leave. I gotta stay. I gotta make this work. That's because you're loyal, man. That's not because you're in love. Love been gone. Love don't live here anymore.
Love been gone. No, I would definitely chime in on this one, right? I definitely think it's the man's if your marriage don't work. Women are sheep. They followers. They follow whatever the man tells them to do. So if your marriage don't work, it's a lack of leadership on you. So that's just kind of how I look at it. Regardless of what they do.
What if they stop? They were following in the beginning and it was just a game and then they stopped following you.
Well, I think we had this conversation often about always being their best option. Like, so it's like, if you're always
look, so what if you don't have a prenup? So let's say you don't have a prenup because you was like, oh, she been following me, so I don't have to do all that, right? So you're no longer her best option because she can get the benefit of you without having to deal with you. So you're not the best option anymore if you don't protect yourself.
So you have to be her best option day in, day out. You have to be a better option even more than your assets to her. Don't ask me how to do that, but
yeah, I'm like,
you know what I'm saying? Like, don't ask me how to do that. Like, but you have to be her. I mean, you got to sell the game, right? But you have to always be the best possible option day in and day out to her, regardless of if she can get your assets now or whatever. Like, your presence has to be more important than anything else in the world to her. And that's the only way to keep a woman loyal to you. That's just my opinion on it.
I don't know if that's going to keep her loyal to you, but it'll keep her around. You know what I mean? Loyalty's a whole nother thing, but it'll keep her in your house. That's for dang sure.
It'll keep her in her house. It'll
also your electricity and
she's not going to get fired.
Hostages.
She's not going to get fired.
It'll keep her legs open.
It'll keep her legs open and close the others. Hopefully, you know what I'm saying. If you don't give her you just got to be perfect. I mean, it's pressure. It's mad pressure, man. That's why you do. You build your shoulders up because you know what I mean. That pressure is built for shoulders and not for hips. Because she gonna buckle. So that's the only solution to that. Like, the pressure's on you to keep your marriage together because you got to be her best option day in, day out, no matter the money, the resources, or whatever that she can get from doing you wrong. Any final thoughts, Lee?
Man, let me tell you what. This episode it's enlightening, and I hope that people were able to glean something from it because I don't think a lot of men think about protecting themselves. You know what I mean? When it comes to it, you go in with your heart open and you think everything is going to be cool, but cooler heads prevail. So it's always good to, make sure you put everything down while you have a cool head. You know what I mean? While you're collected, because the moment those emotions get involved, it's a wrap. You know what I mean? It's too late for anything. It's too late to come back from that. So you want to make sure you want to have the standard set prior to getting too deep in this situation, and you want to have that conversation. I really love that we were able to hit so many different aspects of this thing. You know what I mean? Not just significant other, but family. Being pirates and vultures. You know what I mean? And possible friends. Be having that entitlement type of thing. You know what I mean? So I'm really happy that we were able to hit some of those other things, and it wasn't just on a significant other, because sometimes you do get these other people who have this entitlement thing, and they, oh well, you got it. I know you got the Lexus, or you got this, or you got the Jaguar, you got, you know what I mean? And they man, I got bills. That's what I got. You know what I mean? I ain't got you. I got bills in my family. Like, come on. You know what I mean? So I really love the conversation, man, and I hope people were able to get something from it.
Mo?
I echo that sentiment. This is definitely a needed conversation. It's a valuable conversation. And last thoughts for me are: never be so in love that you're willing to. I'm measuring how I'm going to say this, because I don't want to go viral, but never be so much in love that you sign a contract without a lawyer having your interest in mind. I'll put it that way. Never be that much in love.
Do I gotta call your name?
Yo, you talking to me? I want to make sure I can go because it's been that type of night. But yo, I think one thing I wanted to touch on, man, protecting your assets is a lot deeper than just looking at money, man. You need to protect your state of mind. You know what I mean? Protect your health. Make sure you dudes is wearing condoms, and you know what I mean. You watching who you running up in, and protect your health, protect your mind, because that's an asset as well. It's just not always things that's liquid, man. It's things that doesn't have a price, things that we can't, you know what I mean, that we can't replace, man. So like that's a part of being the assets. You know what I mean? If something's disturbing your peace, like there's a thin line between love and loyalty, man. And you know what I mean, know the difference. The things that's not good for you, man. Be able to let that go, man, and know that you're the type of dude you built for, that you can go and get it again and get it better. You know what I'm saying? So that comes with believing in yourself and not allowing people, to take that from you. Because a lot of times in divorces and different things, men lose a lot, not just not just money, but they lose their self-esteem. You know what I'm saying? They lose, who they was as a person. Like, yo, them dudes be getting crippled by that. So, I mean, that's just something to think about, man, when we talk about assets and losses dealing with women.
Yo, so me and Hit was having an interesting conversation earlier about putting together like a divorce training package. It might be a thing, you know what I'm saying, where we might be selling it as a service, right? How to make sure you stay healthy, you know what I mean? How to make sure
divorce template.
Yes.
Not divorce recovery. Divorce
recovery. Yeah. I like it, yo. I think with all the knowledge we have here, man, and with the advice, we can really put together something special on a divorce recovery package.
Yo, we take a field trip to Houston. Field trip, you know what I'm saying? Boom.
I only like to keep y'all an hour. Nope.
Hey, this is Prototype Dad. I only like to keep y'all out. Man, I appreciate all you guys, and that's another Prototype Dad. And we out.
Yeah, I did this one injured, man.